same game preparation, same scouting reports, same film sessions beforehand, same shooting routine, try to keep that as much as normal. But I think players know what time of year it is and what's ahead of them.
I know you've been asked this question before about Kyle and the trade, but now at this point, you just think your lucky stars that he's here, that you have somebody like him on the floor?
No question. I mean, I'm glad that he's here. I'm glad that the trades didn't go. Some of the best trades that happen, the ones that don't happen. So, he's been. We've got 2 All-Stars. DeMar's been one, but in my heart, Kyle Lowry's been an All-Star. So, he's our engine. He's our spirit. He's our toughness. He sets the tone for everything we do on both ends of the floor.
Terrence was saying that he's kind of like a coach. You have to sometimes kind of bridge the gap. Does he kind of maybe extend his responsibilities?
I tease Kyle all the time. I said, when you get old and become a coach, I can't wait to come to your practice and see you coach Kyle Lowry. So, but he's good. It's all in good consciousness as far as him trying to do the right thing to win. And you want that. Every team I've been with, you have input from players to the coach or players to his teammates, and that means they care. And I've never heard him say anything to a teammate that wasn't in the right vein, the right spirit.
And I imagine you feel it's unfair, the criticism that he's gotten. Sometimes, I remember you saying that the snub that he got, but in terms of the perception outside that you and him didn't get along, right, and that, think they think that was always unfair?
Well, it wasn't true. I mean, you have good days and bad days with every player on the roster, but his and I's relationship got blown out of proportion or whatever, and that's okay. That's everyone's right. But so it's good. It's solid. And again, he is our leader. He's our star, and again, he's our engine, along with DeMar. And I'm glad he's here.
Were there good days and bad days with Jason Kidd when he was?
Good days and bad days with Jay Kidd, and he would be the first to tell you. All your point guards are a lot alike, and you want that, the input, the intelligence. Gary Payton was the same way. They have the reason, they're star players, elite players, is because they think differently, a little bit differently. And Jay Kidd had all these, and Jay Kidd could understand it, but probably Brendan Haywood couldn't, or Tyson Chandler couldn't. And so that was always his thing. Jason was always a step ahead of the curve.
It's often said that star players have trouble transitioning to coaching. Why is Jason different?
Well, Jason, I think you have to quantify that with point guards.
Yeah.
I think point guards are coaches on the floor. They should be. They've gone through their whole career figuring out things on the fly, on the court. And so I think that's the difference in Jason. And Jason has been a thinker his whole career, and he's doing a good job now with Brooklyn.
Did you ever think that your first playoff game as a head coach would be against him in his first playoff game as a head coach?
No, I never thought about that. That's a good question. Never thought about it. And well, you said that, I didn't. But no, I really never thought about that. But I'm glad we're in. I'm glad for both he and our team that we're in, and we'll go from there.
Coach Jason, he's got a bunch of guys that have been there before, but for you haven't. Talk about the approach mentally.
Well, again, it's I think DeMar said it's not rocket science. It's basketball. It's a playoff game. Those guys have been there, but you still got to play the game. I mean, you got guys who've won championships. You can't take that away from them. It's real. We have guys who learned at some point they had their first playoff game. They had their first playoff series. So, again, I don't want to make too much of that. You still got to go out and play the game.
How important is tomorrow? Because obviously you want to win as many games as you can, but to get out of the gate with that home win.
Well, again, I'm sure nobody's given us a snowball chance and where to win. So, but we're going to go out with a big 2x4 on our shoulder and scrap and claw and have confidence in what we do. I mean, and if they feel, if other people feel like that it's already over with, it's shame on them.
Coach, you have 2 players.
Van Gundy yesterday said he thought the Nets deliberately tried to avoid Chicago to get you. Do you take offense to that? And plus the fact, you're a division champion, you're the 3rd seed. How do you?
Well, everyone has their opinion, and I can't. You have to ask Jason that question because I don't know. The whole time I thought they were resting guys all the way the whole month, and unless they have a crystal ball in their locker room to know that Chicago was going to lose to Charlotte in overtime, and a lot of things fell into place that night. So I don't put a lot of stock in it. The only time I really think about that is when you guys asked. I'm more worried about stopping Paul Pierce and Darren Williams and that type of thing.
Could you, Amir Johnson and Paul Pierce, can you just talk about that?
Well, it's a tough matchup, I think, for both sides. I think Amir's got to use his advantage on the boards and in the paint, his rebounding, his running the floor. And Pierce is a handful because he handles the ball and is on the perimeter. So, but Amir's done it before. He's guarded Kevin Durant. And other than the 51 points in overtime, I thought he did a good job. But he's done it before with other perimeter players.
Coach, you got two NBA sophomores on your group. What has been your message to Jonas and Terrence about this upcoming series?
Play basketball. Come out, play hard. Use your advantage, which is your energy, speed, and quickness. Don't get caught up in the hype. Play your game. And again, there's a first time for everything. It's the first time you did your interview. You remember that?
I do remember that.
Yeah, okay, all right. So it's the first time they're in a playoff game. And, again, they got to go through it. And we can't change it. It's not going to be any different. You can't take away Garnett's and Pierce's championship. You can't change that. So we got to go out and play the series and leave it on the court.
Coach, is it overwhelming for them at all?
I don't think so. I don't see that. We've had 2 good days of work. I don't see anybody that looks like they're overwhelmed. Again, we have to go through it to find out. Again, we prepared them as well as we can, and now we're ready to play.
Neither of these teams plays at a particularly fast pace in terms of looking to get shots early in the possession because of that advantage in terms of youth. Athleticism. Is it a situation where you might look for an extra opportunity or two?
Well, we want to try to we always try to do that. I know it probably doesn't look like it, E, but
I'm just going by the numbers.
I know the numbers don't tell you the whole truth, though. But again, we want to try to get some early offense if we can. We want to push the pace, and it doesn't necessarily have to mean you come down and get a quick shot. But we want to use push the tempo a little bit, but we don't want to go crazy. And again, it goes back to we can't be someone who we're not. We can't just change in midstream and be a up and down team and play over our head too fast.
What's the biggest advantage do you think for your team in this matchup?
Advantage of speed, athleticism, and energy, I think, and as he said, the ability to play a little faster than they can. So we'll see what happens. And again, it's going to be who can present their will on the other team. They're a very veteran team. They've seen it all. They've seen every scheme and coverage that you can throw at them. And we're going to have to mix it up. We can't come down in the same scheme, each quarter. So that's what we're prepared for. And we got to be able to do that on the fly with this team because they are so experienced.
That's the biggest challenge in facing them is the experience they have.
Well, that they have seen things, and that you may get them once or twice, but they'll figure it out because they've been there before, and that's what experience gives you. Is the ability to read situations, read offenses, defenses, and what they're trying to do to you.
How lethal can Deron be at point guard, and what will you and Kyle have to kind of guard against?
Me and Kyle guard against?
No. In terms of preparation, in terms of what you're going to have to do in order to go ahead and...
With him, I tell you what, he's very good with the ball, off the dribble. He sees the floor. He's strong, and he can create his own shot as a point guard. And a lot of point guards are more set-up guys where he is a big-time threat with the ball in his hand. So that's what we have to be on guard for. Again, we've played these guys before. Had some success against them, so we'll see what happens.
Does the playoff format negate any of your advantage with them? I mean, like these guys, there's no back-to-backs. They get 2 days off.
Right.
Well,
again, it does favor a veteran team, and I like the playoff formula. It does it's in their favor because they don't have back-to-backs. But again, it is what it is. We can't change the schedule. We got to go at it, Fred.
I'm sure if you called out yourself,
we change it. Well, let's get a triple header. Remember the year we had a triple headers, 3 years ago. So we'll take that one.
Helped in Dallas, though. Helped you guys in Dallas, the breaks.
I did. Well, it did. It really did. Well, we had an older team and a veteran team, and We had some long stretches between games.